Hey, I thought I'd do a little quick overview for the DMC3 Switch ports. I decided that I won't be doing a full port review because it seems like there are a lot of minute differences, or rather some major differences actually, between this and the DDMK style switcher. One of which I heard is you can't use other styles during Quicksilver. There's a lot of like minute things that I wouldn't quite be able to grasp because I stopped playing this game long before it got as developed as it was now. Basically, meaning past Special Edition, I really did not play this game at all. So I think you'll be able to get the more detailed list of differences from somebody who's never stopped playing the game. But for me, I'm gonna just go ahead and show some of the new mechanics. Okay, so the first thing they added is a radio weapon wheel. It has some pros and some cons. Now you can switch normally, so when you have only three weapons, it's not that much different from, like, say, playing Virgil in DMC4 SE, or if you play with two or three weapons on DMC5 with a regular full custom. However, you have to have everything equipped at the same time, which means that you're going to have to use the quick switch. So, like right now, I'm on Rebellion. If I want to go straight to Agni and Rudra, I have to push diagonally down on the right analog stick while holding the weapon switch button. Same thing goes for the guns too. So when you start getting five weapons, it's basically going to become pretty much impossible or far too difficult. It's going to be like really cumbersome to switch exactly to the weapon that you want. So you will have to use this. I'm kind of baffled they don't just have a regular full custom here because that was one of the best things about DMC5 is you could equip everything or nothing or just one or two weapons, and you could learn how to weapon switch and have them in the order, whatever your pace of learning the game is at. Here you basically have to have everything or nothing. Also, when you start the game, it will have the classic mode, which is basically the same as it was on PS2 and pretty much all the other versions actually, minus the mods and things. And then you have the freestyle mode. You cannot switch between the modes, so if you want a more authentic experience, you will have to make a separate file. But I don't think anybody who's actually interested in buying this, I mean, this game's been available, it's been ported, remastered like 5 times now. I don't think anybody who's buying this at this point is interested in playing the classic mode, but if that does bother you, you will have to make two separate files. Now, unlike DMC4 and 5, there is no like style indicator on the UI. Basically, all you have is just a little font at the top that tells you what style you're in. But if you played, DMC4 and 5, it shouldn't be too much of an issue to figure out what style you're in. Also, the style change sound is abnormally loud too. Overall, the port's pretty good. I have not noticed any major performance issues. Contra Network uploaded a what's it called, a frame rate analysis earlier today, actually, and he said that, not that he said, but his tests pretty much show that it does drop in handheld mode sometimes, but in docked mode, it's pretty much locked 60 FPS. I don't really think it will matter too much. I remember the PS2 version having some lag as well. I think having this game portable is awesome, especially since they added some new features. I do think that they could have messed with this a little more, because this game is already hand-cramp city. It always has been, and when you're playing it on the Joy-Cons, and you have much smaller buttons to work with than what I'm using right now. I'm on the 8-bit Do SN30 Plus. It can be kind of a nightmare to control. Controlling Dante at a high level is already difficult enough as it is, and now you're forced to have everything on at once. The only other thing I'd really want them to add is probably just a training mode. I do think it's kind of odd they went all the way through reverse engineering the game to allow you to equip all the weapons and have co-op with Bloody Palace, but they still don't have a training mode. So if you want to play this game at a high level without any limitations, the DDMK style switcher actually does offer far more options. There are a lot of nice accessibility things too, like being able to skip the Jester fight. You can skip the first part of the Arkham fight. You can also change the crazy combo button mash threshold, which I think is really nice for me because in particular I've never been good at button mashing. When you start playing this game on turbo, getting the crazy combos to come out is even more difficult. I'm about not halfway through the game. I'm at mission 7 right now. I should also show you guys after I finish this one floor here. I'll show you guys that you can actually access the Bloody Palace right from the start. I guess since they're, promoting the co-op Bloody Palace as one of the biggest new features, they don't want you to have to beat the game to go through it. But since the game is not, the Bloody Palace is not really designed to be played until you beat the game, you're gonna kind of run into the issue of not having many moves, your styles won't be leveled up, and you won't have weapons or health or anything. So like I said, once you have all 5 guns and weapons, it's going to be a nightmare to switch. Hopefully, I don't know if they're going to patch this game or not. A lot of the main feedback seems to be the radio weapons kind of makes things more complicated in a way, because you can't just, pick what you want like you could in DMC5. So it's going to take even more muscle memory than before, which is crazy. Also, obviously I don't have anybody else to play this with, so I can't test the co-op Bloody Palace, but they did a stream last week, and apparently whenever you get to a boss, the game starts running at 30 FPS and there's like dropped input issues. Basically because the game has to start rendering the game in split screen, which means it has to draw the game twice. If you ever played an old school split screen game, you know that generally, at least on older consoles, pretty much all older consoles, whenever you played split screen, either the resolution or the frame rate or both would go down dramatically when you do that, and that seemed like it was a problem. They had Mills and Devil Never Cry there, and both of them said that they were dropping inputs and stuff. The game was like harder than actually intended because of the frame rate drops and stuff. So if you're playing this for co-op, then I don't know if I would really recommend it. But yeah, that's it. I can't really cover the minute differences because I don't have a leveled up character and I don't have the 10,000 hours of experience with this game as other people do. So I hope one of those people will actually put out a more detailed port. Overall, I've enjoyed it so far, but it definitely is hand-cramped city. So if you're planning on playing this in portable mode, I recommend either getting the Split Pad Pro, which is far more ergonomic. The buttons are also bigger as well, which will help. Part of the problem is like the analog stick and the right Joy-Con buttons are very small, so with this game that could be kind of an issue. You may fat finger buttons, you may have problems actually getting to things in time and things like that. Or you can get the 8BitDo SN30 Pro Plus, which actually works wirelessly, so if you have like a little Switch stand for it, you can actually run the game in portable mode that way. I'm actually doing that right now with my SN30 Pro Plus in wireless mode, and it definitely feels a lot better than the Joy-Cons. A lot of people have said that the Split Pad Pro is great for games like this, games that are more technically and physically demanding. It's more ergonomic. It would pretty much prevent or reduce the chances of cramps and things like that. I've actually got a cramp right now from playing this for a few hours. So if you keep all those things in mind and you can look past the shortcomings of the new things that they added, like the poor frame rate and not being able to choose your loadout at will, then I think this is a pretty awesome port. It's cool that they didn't just you know, crap it out on the Switch again, and they actually made an attempt to modernize it. But unfortunately, said attempt to modernize it is not as good as their last game, which was DMC3, which just barely came out a year ago. I don't know if they're going to be accepting feedback or not. I assume that this will be selling quite well, so there's a chance that these things will be changed. In terms of the mechanics changes and stuff, the things that don't work the same way as they do on the DDMK style switcher, I have my doubts that those things will be changed, but they may be willing to change some things if they get enough complaints. So make your voice heard, and I'll catch you guys later. Maybe I'll play some of this on stream or on video once I get a little bit used to the layout. I never really played DMC3 Dante with the style switcher before because, like I said in my video last week, the mod did not work for me at all until like a couple days ago, actually, when I managed to fix the problem on my own end. So it'll take me a while to grind out the muscle memory, but until then, I will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.